What's up, guys? K4K Crypto here. Got an awesome video yet again about, as you can see on the screen and probably the title, a cheap and easy do-it-yourself metal seed storage. Good way to protect your coins, way better than paper and ink. You know, that only lasts so many years and then that can deteriorate and you may have had it somewhere for a long time and then you get it out in a few years and it's completely evaporated, the ink's gone, and now I have no money. Very sad. So I found this way. I'll also show the other way that I've seen going around that people use, but I think this is just it's a smaller device once you put it together, and it also is much cheaper, and you can make many more of them for like a lower price. And for Hex, whenever you're making a stake for 15 years, probably don't want that tied to like something where maybe you do have a smaller amount or a different account that you're trading maybe a little more actively. Don't want that mixed with your 15-year stake. That's silly, because if that active one gets hacked, you lose the 15-year stake too. So for something like this, I also got some tips where you're going to want to probably have something like a totally separate Metamask. We'll get into it. But basically you want that completely separate, and this is probably the safest, best way to do it. It'll survive a fire. No guarantees, but you know, it's metal. It's better than pencil and paper, you know. I'm also going to go over some just tips on like how to not get hacked. A lot of people seem to be getting hacked out there lately, SIM swapped and putting their seed phrases into Google Forms and wondering why they lost all their money. Well, I've never been hacked. Richard's never been hacked. He has some tips in some of his videos, and I've done a lot of research over the past few days just trying to get the most, what's the best way to not get hacked. The vast majority of people do not get hacked, so this isn't like fear-mongering or anything. It's just, what can you do as a normal person to actually super protect your stuff? Like 99.999% chance we'll never have any issues. And that's probably the percentage of people who will never have issues, as long as they're not giving out their seed phrase. But I got some extra tips just because why not be extra safe if you know about how you can be. So let's start with the we'll talk about how not to get hacked first, then we'll go into this awesome way I found a while ago. It's a pretty old post, but it's just made by a guy who was like, yeah, this is just a cheap way to hodl. Oh, okay, let's get back. Cheap way to store your stuff in metal, and you know, it's even kind of stupid of me to make this video in the first place, just because sharing information that about your own OPSEC and stuff is not the smartest, but I want to share with people a better way to store their stuff. There's also smart ways of like storing your seed phrases with like Shamir, what is it called? Shamir storing or something like that, where you spread it across, like you need like 3 of 5 of like the different locations in order to actually, or people you give it to, they need 3 of them in order to actually get the real full seed phrase. We're not going to get that super deep into this, but we're going to talk about how not to get hacked. Alright. First off, consider only running Metamask in a browser profile that it is the only add-on, first and foremost. So separate regular browsing from Metamask activities. You can have a totally separate Google Chrome account and just have Metamask in there. This protects you from like other add-ons or in-cache type of kind of keyloggers you can get from browsing internet. Certain websites may start like logging kind of what you're typing while on their website. So if you're in Metamask, they might be able to detect what you're typing into there. And if you type your seed phrase into there because it's like a new computer, or not even a new one, but just some other computer you have, it may be able to detect what you've typed in. So always make a separate one and use a separate one. Alright. I just don't want anyone to get hacked. It's not good for X Price. It's not good for that person. They didn't want to get hacked. They didn't want to lose all of the money. So I don't want you guys, even though it's the vast minority of people that get hacked, don't want my viewers to be the ones who do get hacked. So you guys are going to learn some great information here. Alright, so firstly, things hackers and scammers will do, they will do literally anything. They're coming up with new ideas all the time on how to get you to give them your seed words. So that is the major way that anyone gets hacked. So once they get the seed words, that's all your money. If they have it, it's gone. So how do they do that? How do they get you to give them your seed words? They make fake sites, advertise at the top of Google. If you type in MetaMask into Google, sometimes there's just an ad up there that says MetaMask, and it looks like it's the top result, but it's just an ad. You click it, you go and make an account, and you ask for your seed words. Maybe you're just logging into your MetaMask. Boom, they have all your money. You lost everything. So fake websites advertise at the top of Google. Fake MetaMask support. This shows up all throughout Twitter. Anytime anyone says like help or support or MetaMask, a MetaMask fake employee comes in and goes, yeah, let me help you out. And then they offer you this Google form that convinces you that it's real and legit, and then you put your seed words in there and you lose all your money. This just happened to some guy like 3 days ago or something on Twitter. It's terrible. Another way is fake airdrop coins, or just pretty much any contract that you don't know much about. If you go and you just say you authorize it to spend whatever coins you authorize it to spend, if it's just a scam or a hack or whatever, it's not a hack, but it's basically a bad contract, if you allow it to spend your funds and it has admin keys or something like that, and maybe in 5 months or in 6 months or a year even, that admin just comes in, changes the rules of the contract, and is like, and all the money is all gone. So if you're yield farming and something like that, that's like got admin keys like that, that is so dangerous. I should have prepared the website. There's a way to actually remove all prior authorizations you have with your wallet. What is it? Well, I'll put it in the description below. I got other stuff to show you too. Alright. The other way that you can lose your funds is by being on centralized exchange. They get hacked all the time. There's like a list of 10 different exchanges. KuCoin's been hacked, Binance hacked, Quadriga CX hacked. There's so many different exchanges that just get hacked, and it's like, well, I have my two-factor authentication on there, and so they can't get in anyway. Well, because if you get SIM swapped, they can get your SMS messages, which means all your two-factor is taken over. They probably are into your email, and so they can just change any passwords, get through any security, because your two-factor is completely useless after a SIM swap, which is basically where someone just pretends to be you, calls your cell phone company, either pays them off or they're just a stupid employee who just allows them to change the SIM, and then they have basically you, and then they can just get past all your two-factor authentication, and then you're just super screwed. So they can go into your exchange accounts and just send all the money to a different address that's obviously not owned by you anymore. So not using centralized exchange, one of the great perks of being a Hexagon. I haven't used centralized exchange since Hex launched. I was just like, Uniswap, it came out like a few weeks after Hex launched basically, or at least I was aware of it by then. And I've only ever used DeFi since. I'm not risking my coins on exchange. It's just a matter of time. So let's see. Whenever you are making your wallet, make sure there are no cameras looking at your computer. Make sure there's no audio devices or anything that could be recording your keystrokes or something nearby. I know this is a little like, oh no one's going to be looking through my cameras. Well, you never know. This is just, why not just cover up your cameras? Why not double check your environment before you start creating a wallet that maybe you'll have to use in 15 years, you know? If any sort of recording is salvageable and someone gets a hold of it and they saw you typing in because you have a camera pointed at your screen, you lose all your money. Was it worth the 5 seconds? It was. I think it was worth the 5 seconds to look around and make sure nothing is recording you. All right. Now, very rarely is there ever like a state level physical computer hack where someone gets a hold of your computer and then they go in and they find like the seed words that were typed in the memory that never got deleted or something like that, or on the hard drive, because memory gets wiped after reboot. But on the solid state drive, stuff like you do on websites and stuff like that, and stuff that you think you delete doesn't actually get deleted until you run what's called a trim function, or sometimes it's called optimize. Most SSDs have this nowadays. So we'll go over that in a second. But luckily, this is great. If you don't store your keys on your computer, there's nothing to be physically stolen and then hacked. So once you make your wallet, you do what you want to do. Maybe you buy some X, maybe you stake it. If it's just like a long-term wallet, if that's all you're doing with it, then just delete the MetaMask and then run the trim function, which basically, if it's Windows 10, and you guys can just Google trim function, how to use it. It basically just overwrites this, not like your whole hard drive or anything, just the parts that it said it deleted but didn't actually delete, just flagged some stuff to not be used until you run this trim function. Most operating systems that have it, that work with the SSDs that have the trim function, run it on like a weekly basis, but just to be safe, you can manually run it. So if you go into like the search bar, I'm not going to on my computer, but just be sure to type in like optimize or trim, and if you see it, you can go in and you just run the trim function and you're good to go after deleting MetaMask. Make sure you download Metamasks from metamask.io. Make double, triple check you're getting the correct thing and it's not an advertisement. Like, being lazy here is like the worst thing you can do. Never do the wrong metamask.io. Run trim, yep. Now, if you want the this is not a super long video, and I'll get to these other, there's some like higher level security you can go through, and you're going to want to do your own research as well, and not just follow any of these links, because even in some of the stuff I've found is basically, even if someone comes up with the best like security, like best way to do it, and everyone starts using that actually increases attack surface for it to not be as secure, because now the hackers have one way that they realize everyone is using, and so they just throw in, oh, these links to these sites don't work anymore, or they don't work, but they're just phishing attempts, and it's an easier attack surface than whenever it's like a decentralized, there's many ways people do security and where they go. So always be cautious, always be awares whenever you're clicking any links or downloading anything, especially related to crypto, because those are the kinds of sites that will be targeted by hackers to possibly have keyloggers and stuff to record what you're putting in and stuff like that. Let's see. Now I'm going to put in like the best security tips. There's going to be a link to there's like this little guidebook website. I have it up here, but it basically talks about, it's amazing, like they go through everything you can do. You can literally physically, you can roll dice to make your seed phrase. Like, how cool is that? So you can kind of like do it in like, how are they gonna, no computer's gonna be able to record what you're freaking doing with your totally air-gapped PC. It tells you how to air-gap a PC. It tells you how to use Tails OS, which is a Linux distro, which is basically like super security enforced, and all about like launching in offline an environment, and you're doing everything from there and creating it. You're creating your entropy, they call it. It tells you how to do all this. Now, I don't recommend everyone do this stuff. This is kind of for like the super geeks who want to like, I want to make a 24-word one instead of a 12-word. I mean, 12 words is fine, it's just the 24 is better. And then also you can like kind of create it yourself, which I guess is fun. But it's also risky too. If you don't know what you're doing, don't go try and learn all this. You're probably fine with what I told you already so far. That's good enough for like 99.99999% of people. This is for the people who really want to get into it and be as safe and secure as possible. Now, if you're handling $1 billion in crypto, maybe you do this stuff, you know, for billions of dollars. So this is for those people. It's probably for like the 100 million and up club, or 50 million. You know, it's whatever, you know. If it means a lot to you, you secure it better. That's what this is about, security. All right, so now we'll get into. So yeah, I'll link this in the description. There's tails. So this is all you need for this. Is you order some washers. You know, you get stainless steel washers so they don't rust and stuff. And you get these hex bolts, and here, I'll show you what I got. This is what it should look like when you're done. Look how little that is. And anyone who, if this ever, I don't know, got found, they're not going to think, oh, there's something on this, because each one on either side, these washers don't have anything on them. They're just to protect the inside information. Now you're like, okay, well, how does this work? How's the receipt word on this? I'll link this also in the description. But basically, all you need is a hammer. Now, I'm not gonna like go pounding away on stream, but then you get yourself some of these like chisel things. You get them off Amazon. Just has letters and numbers. And you order some of these nuts. Just wanted to say nuts on stream, I guess. Nuts in, I'm not sure what these things are called. I don't know, they help fasten or tighten or something. But yeah, basically this is what you end up with. And to get all this stuff is like less than like 45 bucks to get enough to make. I actually figured out that you actually can only make like 6 or so with the amount that you get for like 45 bucks, but then you only need to pay like $10 more to get like this other material, and then you can make like 10 more. So $10 more to keep expanding, make 10 more, is because like the main cost is like these things. I think they're like 15 or 20, and then the other stuff's like $10 each, and you don't have to rebuy those. So it looks like this. He recommends on here, but this is like a really old website, and like I think I remember checking these links, and like none of these worked anymore. No one uses Home Depot. People use Amazon. I mean, he does have Amazon here, but you can look for. You can even find a cheaper deal than what I did. You could probably get it for less than 30 bucks, or you can buy it in bulk, and then you have like you can make 50. That should be enough. But if you're in Hex, if you're making like multiple 15-year stakes, you probably want to put them in separate wallets. That's what I recommend. That way if one gets compromised somehow, then the other one is fine. And you can store these in like way easier than this is the other. And look at the cost. And look, you get 2. This is I'm not gonna, you know, you guys can do what you want. One thing I will say is this is a little bit easier. I would say you kind of just it's probably easier to punch it in or whatever than going around each washer and doing each word. It took like 30 minutes or something to make one. It's not very difficult. It does take a little bit of time though. But so does this. And also look, you get two times 12 word plates. So you can only do one for $80 if it's a 24 word seed phrase. What? That just doesn't. And it doesn't scale. Like you can't go, oh, I want another one, I'll just pay $10. It's like you're paying another 80. You want to do another one? Another 80. That's, you guys can make your own decision, but that just doesn't seem as good. You know, it's a solid product. Guys got to make money somehow. But this is for what I'm showing you is just a cheaper way, and I think just as good security-wise, if not better. You can hide it. A little bit better than this big old plate, which is super obvious. The other thing, at least whenever it ever gets found, people would probably just toss it in the trash. They see this thing like, oh, what's this? Oh, free money. So that isn't what you want whenever, if you ever get physically, you know, found out or something. that's a little obvious. This is a little more obscure. That is everything for this video. I have another video coming out soon. I hope this guys helps you with your security. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell, then you can see my videos as soon as possible. And sometimes I make videos like right as something big comes out. Like we only just recently heard that Richard is making sure the sacrifice phase for Pulse Swap is happening by the end of the year. So it's probably going to start by the end of the year and then go into January. And if we have testnet tomorrow, guys. Testnet launching tomorrow. Heard it here. Testnet v2, and that's super awesome. So yeah, I like to release kind of up to date stuff. This is kind of just, I had the idea that this would help people because I didn't want people to have to spend so much on security when you can spend a lot less and get more value. You know, I made that video about value and cost and how value is value and cost is what you pay. And so anyway, peace out, guys. Another video coming probably tomorrow or Saturday, so stay tuned for that. Peace out, guys.